Hey guys, it's Mr. Hing here. I hope you're all well. I am so sorry that I have not posted. The biggest reason why I haven't been doing that is because I got a new laptop and it was just acting so crazy on the previous app that I was using to record. But without further ado, here is a topic on exponents. And what we're doing today is we're going to be doing and looking at some practice questions for our test preparations. Okay, so why don't we jump right in? I'm going to use the color blue. All right, so we now know that, well, once we've been through all of the rules of exponents, we know that when we see an exponent outside of a bracket, it's going to affect everything inside of the bracket. So it's going to affect the a squared and the b to the 5. Now, what happens when we have an exponent raised to another exponent? Well, the rule says that we need to multiply. Okay, so we're going to multiply the exponents together. So what that will actually look like is the a squared. Remember I said we were going to multiply the exponents. So it'll be a, and then 2 times 2 will give me 4. And b will be 5 times 2 will give me 10. And that is the answer for this question over here. Let's have a look at when we get 1.2, where we have 6 to the power of 2 times 4 to the power of 2. Now, what rule applies here is that when you have the same exponents, and we will just multiply the bases together, so the 6 and the 4 in this case, and we'll keep the exponents the same. And please look here, it says leave in exponential form, so we need to follow that rule. So over here, basically what would happen in a bracket, we would say 6 times 4, and we're going to keep our exponent. So therefore, our answer in exponential form will be 24, because 6 times 4 is 24, all raised to the power of 2. And that is the final answer. Let's have a look at 1.3 over here. So we have a squared times 10a to the 3. Now, what I have taught my learners is step number 1. Whenever you get a question like this, you're always going to manage your coefficients first. Now, remember, what are coefficients? They are basically the numbers in front of, or they are the numbers in front of the terms, or whatever you want to call it. And then step number 2 is we manage our variables, okay, correctly. And our variables are basically our letters with the exponents. So let's have a look over here. So in this case, there is what's the coefficient of this over here, of the a squared? There's an imaginary 1. And the coefficient here is 10. So let's manage that together. So just have a look here. We are timesing. So it's going to be 1 times 10 is equal to 10. And then step 1 is done. We've managed our coefficients. Step 2, we're going to have a look at our variables, the a squared and the a to the 3. So then, what is this rule that applies over here in exponents? When we have the same bases, we are going to add the exponents. So it's going to be the a squared. If you want to write this in your test, you can. And we're going to, the a squared plus the 3. And then my final answer is going to be 10a to the 5. And that is my final answer for 1.3. Let's have a look at this one over here. So this, guys, is so similar to this question over here, where we have, and let me just highlight it over here, we have the same exponents over here, and in 1.4 again we have the same exponents. So let's go ahead and manage it the same way and apply the same rule. So we are just going to divide our bases, and we're going to put that in brackets, and we're going to keep our exponent the same. So that's actually going to equal 10 divided by 5 is 2, and we're going to keep our exponent the same. So it'll be 2 to the power of 5. All right, let's go ahead and solve these ones now, or not solve, but simplify. So 1.5, it says 7 to the power of 0 times 2 to the negative 1. This one is a new rule that we're going for in this exercise, and then plus a half. So please remember, guys, as soon as you step into a mathematics room or a mathematic question, you always apply BODMAS where it needs to be applied. So over here, obviously, we're going to do our timesing first, then we're going to do our addition. So let's first simplify what this means. 7 to the power of 0. Remember, guys, there's a rule. anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So this is actually going to be 1, right? And you would probably get a mark here in your test to just show that you know that this is equal to 1. And then times by. Now we've got to simplify this. And remember, guys, there's another rule that we haven't touched on in this exercise where anything to the power of a negative exponent, let's say for instance we have -2, this simplified becomes 1 over a, and then my negative exponent now becomes positive. So let's apply that rule over here. So this would become 1 over 2, and this -1 would become +1. And remember, we don't even need to put that 1 there because it's an imaginary 1. So I'm just going to take that away. And then we're going to plus a half because there's still this half to be written down over there. So let's go ahead and simplify. So 1 times a half, remember anything times 1 is that same thing as itself, plus a half, and therefore this is going to be 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. And that is the final answer for 1.5. Okay, and lastly, let's have a look at this question over here. This one is, there's a lot of things happening here, so let's break it down nicely. And remember, the question's asking leave it in exponential form. That means the answer needs to have exponents, basically. So 1.6, let's have a look and see how we can simplify this. So what did I say at the beginning? If we have an exponent on the outside of my brackets, it's going to affect everything on the inside. So it's going to affect the 2, and it's going to affect that 3. So let's simplify that. So this over here would become 2 to the 3 over 3 to the 3, right? And then we're going to times, let's do the same here. This -2 is going to affect that 3, and it's going to affect that 2 at the bottom. So it's going to become 3 to the -2 over 2 to the -2. All right, let's take a deep breath, and then we can carry on and simplify it further. Right, so this stays the same. This is still going to be, please don't convert it into 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, because we need to try and leave it in exponential form, right? So this is going to become 2 to the 3, or not become, it just stays the same, and 3 to the 3, times, and then this, guys, remember, we want this to become more simplified. So this can actually, because there's a negative exponent, the 3 can come to the bottom, and the 2, the base of 3 will come to the bottom, and the base of 2 will go to the top. So this is what it will end up looking like. So the 2 to the -2 comes to the top, so 2, and now it becomes to the +2, okay? Over, and then this would become 3 to the power of +2. The negatives change into positives once you swap them around. Okay, and then let's go and just finish it off. So if we had to times the numerators, 2 to the 3 times 2 to the 2, that would become 2. And then what's the rule that happens when we have the same bases? We're going to add the exponents. So it's going to be 3 plus 2 is 5, all over, and then this is 3 to the 3 times 3 to the 2, so this will become 3 to the 5. Why? Because again, we are adding those exponents, and this would be our final answer because we want it in exponential form. Okay. All right, guys, so that brings us to the end of today's video. The next video that I'm going to make is solving for x. So I'm going to be writing a whole bunch of questions and then taking us through how to solve for x. If you have any questions, please, as always, drop a comment and I'll try and assist as soon as I can. With all that being said, see you in the next one.